So you're back then?
Yeah, I haven't been gone that long.
Lex Luthor is a comic book character defined by two things: his formidable intelligence and his bald-ass head. In regards to the former, Luthor's mind is apparently so keen that various iterations of the character have casually bragged about solving cancer.
So there's actually quite a lot of Marvel heroes that are supposedly like super smart.
Well, Lex Luthor's from DC, but continue. That's staying in.
I want to say it again,
Oh,
Karl.
maybe you shouldn't take a vacation, Brad.
Anyway, okay, there's quite a lot of... I don't know why, but I was imagining him fighting the Fantastic Four, and I don't know.
Because it'd be a better movie than what we get from DC, but whatever.
But yeah, how smart is Lex Luthor?
He is impossibly smart, and the various comics have established that he is a leading mind in every kind of science known to man, including several he himself invented or pioneered, such as interdimensional travel and building giant robot suits to beat up Superman. Which is probably one of my favourite things about Lex Luthor because of how bad it is. The fact that Lex Luthor is supposed to be a man who combats Superman, the perfect, impossible man, with his mind. But then they say, but no, fuck it, give him a robot suit so he can punch him. The whole point of the character is that he solves all the problems with his mind, but they resort to giving him a punch suit because that's not interesting in movies and video games.
It's also quite funny how Lex Luthor is always going on about, Superman needs to be stopped because no man should have that much power, and yet he can make suits that beat up Superman.
Yeah, as he amasses all of the power and wealth in the world. It's like, no one should have that much power, as he's basically Disneying his way across the world, buying fucking everything. Oh, man, it's great, isn't it? Do you know as well that he hates Superman so much that he once survived getting like impaled and his arm ripped off? Because he was so angry with Superman, he refused. Like Superman said, "Do you need my help?" As he's like dying in a crumpled heap, and he was so mad with Superman, he said no and just like manned his way through.
He just Darth Mauled his way through death.
Yeah, he did it. He was so angry with Superman at that moment; it sustained him. He like basically Anakin Skywalkered his way, where he's so pissed off at Obi-Wan for leaving him, he just goes through his lava wounds. So it makes me think like Lex Luthor would be a formidable Jedi.
Well,
because
Sith.
No, sorry. Oh, whatever.
Whatever.
Now whose turn is staying in. Whatever, damn it. Which makes me think that... Oh, God. Hello? Oh, thank you very much. That's the cleaner for the office. The thing is, I know he's going to come back because he's emptying the bin. So what do we do? Let's just have a cup of tea. How was your holiday?
Pretty good. Well, I mean, I've been away a lot of times in the past. Recently, I went home to see my sister.
Okay, how's she doing?
That's a surprise. She's doing all right.
No, not bad. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, I put a picture on Instagram of my mum in the loft, looking like she was tired because obviously we were tired in the loft. And the immediate response was, "It looks like you're bricking your mum up."
Fuck it. You know what? This video's going places. Bollocks to it. I'm having a look at that one. I don't see that one. Instagram, yeah?
Yeah, it's on Instagram. It's
Is it yours?
Picture. Yeah.
All right, let's have a look. Oh, man. There's a lot of dog...
Follow Brad on Instagram.
Yeah, you can if you want. Let's scroll through all these doggo pics. Doggo.
Just search my name.
No, dog. Woman with her tits out. Dog. Oh, here we go. You look like she looks like she's just going to be pushed. Oh, that's not bad. Anyway, let's continue. Lex Luthor, like, the fact he can just he has that ability, we've talked about it before, haven't we? Where willpower is the greatest superpower in the world. Like we mentioned in regards to like Spider-Man and all the Marvel heroes, where it allows them to accomplish superhuman feats. Well, it exists in the DC universe, obviously, like Green Lantern, the power of will to overcome fear and like pain and anguish and that sort of thing, where it makes me think like Lex Luthor will be a fucking awesome Green Lantern. If he can just like, through sheer force of will, ignore mortal wounds because he's so pissed at Superman. But I think he does get a lantern ring in one comic. It's like the Orange Lantern because he's so greedy in terms of like his quest for knowledge and power and money and that sort of thing. But I think he'd make a much better Green Lantern because he is just sheer... He fights Superman, a guy who can like throw him into the sun, and he does it with just like, you know, his brain.
With this being an established comic character, there's presumably an actual measure to his intelligence.
Yeah, like there is always a hierarchy. So there's always like who is the strongest, who is the second strongest. And in terms of Lex Luthor, in the comics, he is peerless in terms of his intelligence by human standards. And there is only one character considered to be smarter than him in the comics, at least according to him, and that is Brainiac, who is a villain who is essentially that giant brain from Futurama who wants to absorb all the knowledge in the universe and blow it up. That's Brainiac. Brainiac is that way. He basically goes to civilizations, harvests all their knowledge, inserts it into his own head, and then just destroys them. It'd
be a very different comic book if Batman had to go back in time and have sex with his grandma in order to create.
I was going to say, if Batman had to go back and fight a giant brain inside of just like Pride and Prejudice. But do you know what always cracks me up about that particular episode? It's the visual gag of like the people in Moby Dick think the brain is a whale and they won't attack it. And then they throw paint on it, like the paint from Huckleberry Finn, onto the brain. And the guy goes, it's white now. So he throws the spear, which bounces off it. And in response, he tears off his own wooden leg and starts beating the brain with it. I love the idea of the most intelligent being in the universe being like, oh, I am above this. I'm just going to float through like a giant asshole. And just some kind of hitting it with a piece of wood. So I love the way the brain talks in that. Which is like, oh yeah, so quiet and reserved. It reminds me of the Hanar in Mass Effect. Have you played Mass Effect?
No.
The Hanar are a bunch of squid people who just talk in that tone of voice of, I am better than you, human. And there is like one, in Mass Effect is a big citadel full of aliens, and he's like trying to preach. So he's like one of those annoying people in town who screams about Jesus, but he's a giant tentacle jellyfish monster. So I always make it my mission to secure him the right to do that. So whenever I walk through the citadel as my femme shep, all I can hear is like, oh yes, humans, you do not understand the beauty of the Hanar. Like, fucking too right, mate. Fucking too right. Good stuff. Sorry, my mind went for a bit of a wander.
Yeah.
It's definitely just tea in here, folks, I promise. You're hungover today, aren't you? For the first time in Fact Fiend history, Brad is hungover, and I'm the one who's like, I'm having a good day.
Well, you say that there's a video that somebody said to me, "What do you do?"
What do you do?
So I chose a video, and it happened to be one that started with you saying that I'm hungover and you're not. So it seems like it's becoming more and more common.
Oh, God.
You're clearly not drinking enough.
Oh, yeah, that's the problem, innit? That's the problem with this channel. I'm sure everyone will let us know in the comments what the problem with this channel is.
I also love the massive amount of denial there, where I'm like, Karl, the problem is clear that you're not drinking enough, rather than I'm drinking too much.
So it always begins. Don't be afraid to seek help, folks. So, getting back to Lex Luthor, him existing in a comic book, of course, means that he has showcased his intelligence in a number of theatrical, flamboyant ways, and there are various comics and TV shows and games and all that sort of thing where he's shown to do things as absurd as solving complex mathematical equations that have perplexed experts for decades over his morning coffee, or disassembling alien machinery he's never seen before and putting it back together to study and then improve upon its design.
Lex Luthor's existed for a long time.
Yes.
What is the dumbest example of him being super intelligent?
Oh, him just curing cancer randomly. Like, various iterations of Lex Luthor have either cured cancer or claimed to be able to cure it without trying. And it's taken to its logical extreme in like one of the animated movies, where the Lex Luthor in that movie just hands a formula to his assistant. And she goes, what's this? He goes, oh, it's the cure for some terrible disease. I don't think it's cancer, but it's something like, is horrible and completely life-ruining. And he says, oh, I found a way to cure it with a simple inoculation, but give it to the guys in the lab and figure out how to turn it into a lifetime treatment, basically becoming the American healthcare industry. Because he might be smart enough to cure cancer, but he's also a dickhead businessman who wants to make money off it.
Isn't he meant to be really self-righteous?
No, he thinks that he is humanity's rightful ruler.
Right.
Because he thinks that humanity should be ruled and look up to the smartest man in the world, which is a fair point, and not an alien god who doesn't answer to anybody.
Whereas we all know that the real rightful ruler is Doctor Doom.
Yes.
Having seen it in the future.
Yeah, from a previous video we've talked about. But holy shit, does that make him seem like a dickhead? And we should probably talk about how rich Lex Luthor is, because obviously being a genius mastermind of everything, he has, of course, amassed an absurd amount of wealth by consolidating his power and holdings the world fucking over. And I think the most absurd example of this is the city of Metropolis itself, which is noted to not contain any businesses not owned by Lex Luthor, except for, I think, the Daily Planet, which, and I love this fact, is a subsidiary of Wayne Enterprises.
How I knew that was going to be.
Which means that Batman is Superman's boss, and I find that hilarious.
Imagine, like Clark Kent busy, and they're like, "Oh, we've got the senior management."
Yeah, we've got CEO walking in,
and obviously Bruce Wayne walks in, and then he's like, "Oh man, no, Mr. Wayne," and like obviously trying to
he has to be the mild-mannered reporter. Yeah.
He's imagining that Bruce is going to be really nice to him, but he just decides to lord it over him because it's on one of the only.
Well, he has to do, doesn't he? Like, he has to be like the billionaire playboy. And do you have like a favourite example of that from any DC media where Batman or Bruce Wayne has to put on being like the dickhead billionaire? Like ass.
The first one that comes to mind is The Dark Knight.
Yeah, when he buys the restaurant.
No, not the buying the restaurant.
No?
I think that's Batman Begins. It's when he takes the entire... is it the gymnastics team or something? Yeah.
He takes the Russian gymnastics team.
And then just leaves.
Yeah, to go away.
Yeah, but it's the fact that he does it, and he takes away the performance that his ex-girlfriend was going to go see.
Yeah.
And it's like,
that is like
he chose that exact...
it's like the entire Russian ballet squad or something, isn't it? Yeah. And he takes them all on his private yacht. So the newspaper headlines
leaves them there with Alfred.
Yeah. So the headlines are, Bruce Wayne plows entire ballet squad, and his ex-girlfriend's like, well, fucking hell, Bruce. It was really?
I'm pretty sure there is a bit where Bruce Wayne's like, you're going to be all right, Alfred. And he looks around at all these women and goes, I think I'll be all right.
I think I'll be all right, Master Bruce. I think mine... it comes from the Batman Telltale game. If you've played it or familiar with it, it's really, really good. So obviously it's a Telltale game, so you get to pick what kind of Batman you want to be, and you can be the smarmiest, smuggest dickhead Bruce you want to be. And there's a bit where you stood just at a party, and you notice oh no, some Riddler goons are coming in, and a woman comes up to you, and she's like, oh hey, you're Bruce Wayne. I want to have a conversation with you. And one of the things you say is, please go away. And she just goes, oh, you're not such a big deal. And my favourite response is a playthrough the best friends did, where they just say, I actually super am, because he's fucking Bruce Wayne. Also, in that game, Bruce Wayne, because of the art style, looks exactly like Archer, which just makes the entire thing... No, seriously, put the picture of Archer and Bruce Wayne behind me from that game, and it makes the game so much better when you're playing as, smarmy dickhead Bruce. Could you just imagine Archer saying it?
Archer would make a great Batman.
Not live action, but I think the voice guy could pull it off. It's H. John Benjamin, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have you ever listened to his jazz album?
He has a jazz album.
He's got a jazz album. He doesn't know how to play any instruments, but he's got a jazz album where he just bashed on the keyboard for 20 minutes and called it a day. Full fact, go look it up. Also, do you know one of his first acting... fuck it. Do you know one of H. John Benjamin's first acting roles?
What?
It's in the film Not Another Teen Movie as the coach. And because his actual real-life speaking voice is just Archer, I was rewatching that movie recently, as I usually do, because it's got Chris Evans in it, and it's great. You just hear this guy come in, and that's Archer. Archer's just in this scene for no reason. It really freaked me out to hear that voice come from just a regular dude. And have you ever had any moments like that where you just hear the voice of a famous character come from a person? And
I remember. Is it Last of the Summer Wine with Peter Sallis in? I'm not sure. Peter Sallis, the voice of Wallace, it is.
Oh, does he talk exactly like Wallace?
He sounds like Wallace. That is his voice. Yeah, there's a scene my mum was watching it, and I was just I came into the room, and this guy walks in, and just Wallace starts talking, and it's no.
Do you know one that got me recently? I saw an interview with the guy who does the voiceovers for movie trailers. And it's this, for Britain at least, and it's this, huge, big black guy. And he talks exactly like the trailers do. He's not put on at all. Do you like that? In a world where, you think some of it's... No, he talks exactly like that. And his job before he did voiceovers was a train conductor. And,
that'd be amazing.
And you used to get the train conductors doing the fucking movie trailer voice. And he said that he did it one day, and a movie producer knocked on his window and went, we should work together. Handed him his card, and that was it. But it just sounds so... Every time you hear him speak, it sounds like he's putting it on, but it's not, 'cause that's just the way he speaks. Just obviously so many people do that voice. I think Ryan Reynolds does a good version of it, or the epic voiceover guy from Honest Trailers, he puts it on. No, that's just how he talks normally.
Imagine being a train station of that coming over the top, Attention customers.
It's deep, mate. You got to go deeper.
I don't think
Exactly, you can't. Like you've got to put the clip of that guy in. He's awesome.
Yeah. No, the only train announcement voice I do is the one that you get on like cheap ass trains where it's attention customers.
No one could.
What? So let's bring this back again to Lex Luthor.
Yes.
So he can cure cancer whenever he wants.
Basically, yes.
And he doesn't because money.
Yeah, he will only do something like that if it, like, is it directly profitable to him, either in terms of helping him consolidate his wealth or his power. The only known exception to this is when someone challenges his ego. And there is a comic book where there is a guy dying of a horrible disease, and all Lex Luthor's doctors are like, there's nothing we can do. We can't figure out how to cure him. And Superman, who just so happens to be there, turns to Lex Luthor and says, you talk nothing but endless mad shit about how smart you are and about how you can cure cancer whenever you want. Why don't you fucking show me how good you are? And Lex Luthor gets so annoyed, he goes and goes, fine, I'll show you. What am I even paying you dickheads for? And just goes in and just starts curing the guy on the spot. And just basically, on the fly, comes up with a cure for whatever disease he's got. Which is just, that's so Lex Luthor. And then you get Superman just stood there really smugly being like, got him. Completely fucking got him. And Superman doesn't even need to be Superman to do this, because there are examples of him being Clark Kent and still playing to Luthor's ego to make him, like, showcase something he perhaps didn't want to or reveal a piece of information. And it's like in All-Star Superman, like Superman pretends to be like super weak when Luthor's working out. It's like, oh God, no, I can't possibly lift up these dumbbells you're doing, Mr. Luthor. I need your help. Well, acting like the bumbling jackass that is Clark Kent. And I think there's even a panel in the comic where it's like Clark Kent hiding behind Lex Luthor. Because Lex Luthor's obviously playing to his ego. Oh, please protect me, Mr. Luthor. You're the biggest and the strongest. He's like, don't worry, man. And that's also the one as well where he reveals that he built a robot from a radio that plays a symphony by Beethoven or Mozart or some shit at such a high frequency it carves an entire flight of stairs out of its cell. Oh God.
That sounded to me like...
I made something up.
It sounds to me like if I was editing this video and I just kept cutting bits out of the sentence and just put it together and that, none of that made sense.
Oh yeah, but here's the clip of him saying exactly that. I think the guy is dying of cancer. I just looked at the comic panel that I mentioned there, and it's Captain Cold, I think, just looks at Superman and says, oh wow, I get to watch Lex Luthor cure cancer on the spot. So apparently Lex Luthor can just cure cancer on his own. Great, what a hero.
Yeah, it's funny how Superman's always held up as being like the true American, and then yet his arch nemesis is somebody who will withhold life-saving treatment for money.
Yeah, that's true America right there. You're only valuable if you can contribute something to society. Why the fuck would I help people who can't help themselves? Whereas Superman's like, come on, guy, I'll get your cat out of a tree. I'm Superman. Yeah.
The most depressing thing about doing videos about like DC is how interesting the comics are.
And the animated series. The animated films and the TV shows are fucking amazing. I absolutely adore the DC animated stuff because just the characterizations are so on point. Like, I love the relationship Batman and Superman have in the cartoons because they just have this like friendly rivalry where Batman won't admit that he's like Superman's his best friend. Like, I think in like Batman of the Future, Superman comes back and he shakes like old ass Batman's hand, and Batman's like obviously being gruff Batman, and Superman just smiles and says, "You outlive us all, Bruce. You're too stubborn." It's like that's the relationship they have, and then you got them in the films and just punching each other and screwing Martha. But let's not talk about that. That's a dead horse we've beaten many times. So let's instead discuss favourite bald character in fiction.
That was out of left field.
Because Lex Luthor is like, famously I'd argue one of the most famous bald characters in comics. Like, who's a particular favourite bald character for you?
I mean, Magneto.
Xavier
comes. Xavier comes to mind.
Oh man, don't you mean Patrick Stewart?
Yeah, specifically Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart. Joe's like an X-Men Star Trek crossover comic where Picard meets Xavier and they look at each other and go, "We look alike." As a nod to Patrick Stewart playing them both.
Well, you now brought up Picard, another legend.
And we have to mention just that image that people have done of like, compare the haircuts from the first season to like the 8th season. And it's like obviously like Riker, and he goes, like subordinate, like second in command. It's like the woman, it's like, nurse to fucking doctor. And then Patrick's just leader. And he's just the same bald head. Fucking sick. I love
I
it.
never watched Star Trek.
You
when
need
I
to
was
watch.
younger.
The Next Generation is so good.
But there was this like I don't even know. I don't even know if I class it as a meme. 'Cause it was before they were like really a thing, and it was the song from Lazy Town, the Cake song. But then it kept cutting. I threw this out the song to that clip of Picard
Playing the flute.
No, eating the cake.
Oh,
There's a clip of him from I don't know if it's from a Next Generation episode or like
Probably
an outtake or something, but it's like something about loving cake, and then it's him eating this cake, and that was my only exposure to Picard.
I thought you were on about he plays the flute. You know, he's got like a tin whistle or something like that. Because there's an episode where he goes and lives an entire lifetime of somebody else, and they know how to play the flute. It's the future Star Trek shit, don't worry. But then he learns to play it himself, and there's loads of mashups we play like My Heart Will Go On and shit on it. Oh man, fucking talking about Star Trek now. What's all the other memes that Star Trek have done? Was it you?
God, I mean, the epic manoeuvres, the one I mentioned to you about Geordie rolling under the door.
Or Riker being unable to stand up from a chair properly. Which I later found out is because the actor has a bad back. So I felt really bad, but it looks really cool.
Did you ever see the Photoshop someone did of Riker getting onto the Iron Throne? It just shows his leg like 3 miles into the air as he steps over the back of it.
Okay. Stop lifting your leg, Jonathan Frakes. It's so good. Oh, but anyway, bald characters.
Bald characters, yeah.
You know what? I left it Imhotep. From the Mummy movies.
Yeah.
That guy's so fucking awesome. I love as well how he just looks like a guy. Like, he's got the body of like a dad who's like at a swimming pool, but he's portrayed as being like this epic warrior who can beat up anybody. And he's in the same movie as just The Rock. And he tries to beat The Rock.
The Rock?
Oh man, he had hair in that movie though, which is really funny.
He did.
Oh man, but he's not on anymore.
He's not got hair now. So I mean, we have to pick a character though, don't we? So
The Rock plays The Rock in every movie. The Hobbs is the only one who plays with a personality. I'm going to go for all of Terry Crews' characters. Because I found something out that blew my mind. It's Terry Crews isn't bald. He shaves his head every day. He just doesn't like the way his hair looks, so he just shaves it every day.
I found out recently that Terry Crews was in Sixth Day.
Oh yeah, he is. He's one of the bad guys.
He's one of the bad guys. I was like, that's Terry Crews. Terry Crews isn't a bad guy.
Yeah.
Terry Crews is a hero.
Yeah. Oh man, Terry Crews is so good. He's so bald.
Bruce Willis?
No.
He's a bald man.
He don't want to be
John
though.
McClane. Later, John McClane.
We'll talk about John McClane, not Bruce Willis. He's apparently just an asshole. He's just done with life. He's like, please stop making these movies. I just want to die and make jazz albums. Ellen Ripley in the third movie where she shaves her head. I forget which one. She shaves her head in one of them, doesn't she?
I mean, it could be that it's the... Is it the fourth one?
She definitely shaves her head in one of them. The thing is though, Brad, we can talk all day about bald characters. And we could ignore, Vin Diesel for the joke that we always make, that he's the fourth most popular bald character in his own movie. But I feel that there is a man marching towards this conversation right now, and that is Dr. fucking Evil, because in the universe he exists in, it's established that turning evil makes you lose your hair. Because his son loses his hair when he embraces being evil.
But doesn't, isn't the flashback scene where you find out, spoilers, that Austin Powers and Dr. Evil are brothers, isn't the baby bald in that scene? So does that mean that he was an evil baby?
It might have been, yeah. But yeah, it's just that thing of just being evil makes you lose your hair.
Isn't there a bit where she's like, I don't remember, what's the name of his second in command?
Oh, number 2.
No, not him, the woman. The one who actually is...
Oh, it's Frau whatever.
Frau Bifford or
so
something.
It just translates like old woman or something.
Yeah, she...
Oh no, we're going to talk about, before that, the best joke ever is when he goes back in time. He goes, number 2, and he turns it to Rob Lowe. But then, Frau looked exactly the same because she's just not aged, or apparently aged horribly when she was in her 20s. Sorry, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, this is the bit where she's explaining that Scott's turning evil. And he says, he's even started to lose his hair. And then when he walks out, he's got tufts missing.
Oh, man. Is there anything, though? Is there any better cameo in a movie than just the Jerry Springer bit where Mike Myers as Dr. Evil is just beating up a member of the Ku Klux Klan? It's just like my dad is evil. You just see proper just squaring up to him. It's like, oh man, those movies are so good.
They're probably making another one at some point. They seem to be resurrecting a lot of old franchises.
I won't be surprised. Yeah,
Bill and Ted's coming back.
Yeah, the thing as well, because it was so reliant on 2000s humour, it might start being funny again. But oh man, those movies, I forgot how good they were when I rewatched them a while ago.
I mean, this is slightly on top of, you know how there's the mall, the guy with the mall?
Yes.
I was at a friend's house yesterday, and they were talking about nicknames, and she was like, "Oh, I've got this friend. We called him Mole," and I was like, she was like, "Guess why he's called Mole?" I was like, "Well, I don't know. Did he use the grass on you?" She's like, "No, no, no." I was like, "Oh, does he look like a mole? Did he dig holes?" Apparently, he had a massive mole on his face. So that's a horrible nickname for someone. Why would you call someone Mole?
Also,
when they've got a mole.
Super unimaginative. Super unimaginative. Get better with your nicknames, folks. Sorry, Nick say.